Hi guys, good afternoon everyone. Today we are meeting again for the second session. Okay, in the morning session we discussed about the centripetal acceleration as well as tangential acceleration for the case of the uniform circular motion and for non-uniform circular motion. Okay, now we are going to discuss few problems as well as 1 mark. So generally 1 marks at the book back is given in order to test the ability of the students, as well as the book back problems are given in order to increase your manipulating ability and in order to have a higher studies in physics. So you must know how to solve the problem. So we are going to discuss now 1 mark as well as problems. Yes, now. So chapter 2, 1 marks. So the first question is, which one of the following Cartesian coordinate system is not followed in physics? Okay, so generally we must have the tendency for what Cartesian coordinate system is followed in the system. So wrongly we will read. So the question is not followed. First you must read the question properly. Okay. Now, what coordinate system? Okay, what type of Cartesian coordinate system is not followed? That is the question. Okay. Now, in general, we have got two types of Cartesian coordinate system. Already we have learnt. One is left-handed Cartesian coordinate system. Another one is right-handed Cartesian coordinate system. Okay. Out of both can be used, but most commonly we used right-handed Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, now, so out of these four, we must check which is right-handed Cartesian coordinate system, okay, and then which is left-handed Cartesian coordinate system. Yes, clear? Now, so see, so this is X, Y, Z. So this is anti-clockwise direction. Here X, Y, Z. Okay, say it in order. So X, Y, Z. Again, anti-clockwise direction. This is anti-clockwise. This is also anti-clockwise. Okay, and then see this X, Y and Z. So this is also anti-clockwise. Okay, check this last one. So X, Y, Z. So this is clockwise. Okay, so option 1, 2 and 3 are anti-clockwise coordinate system. Okay, and option 4 is clockwise coordinate system. Yes, clear? So which one of the following Cartesian coordinate system is not followed? That is the question. Okay, we do not follow left hand coordinate system. Okay, we generally follow right hand coordinate system. So we do not follow left hand coordinate system. So the left hand coordinate system is clockwise direction. Okay, so option D, which is clockwise direction, in which we write the X, Y, Z. So this is called left hand coordinate system. This we do not use. So what is the option? So now the correct answer for first question is option D, which is left hand Cartesian coordinate system, which we do not use. We use only right hand Cartesian coordinate system. Clear? Then yes, now we have got second question. Identify the unit vector in the following. Identify the unit vector. First you must know how to calculate the unit vector. Okay, so how to find the unit vector? So unit vector is found using the formula. How to find? Then, so here first option we have I cap plus j cap. Okay, component of I cap is 1 here. Okay, component of j cap is 1 here. So what is given? What is the component? So the magnitude, component of I cap is 1 and component of j cap is 1. Yes, clear? Now, so what is component of I cap and j cap? 1. So now how to calculate the unit vector? So unit vector is equal to, first you must find square root of magnitude of this. Unit vector is nothing but which has magnitude as unity. So if the magnitude of that vector is unity, then we will call it as unit vector. So we have to calculate magnitude. How to calculate magnitude? Component of I, that is I vector square plus component of j vector square Okay, so what is the component of I cap? 1. What is component of j cap? 1. Therefore, 1 square plus 1 square. Therefore, square root of 1 plus 1 equal to 1. Okay, so sorry, 1 plus 1 is root of 2. Sorry. So what is square root of 1 plus 1? So this is equal to root of 1 plus 1 is 2. So we are getting 2. We have to get 1. Okay, so we are not getting 1. So this option is not correct. Okay, first option is not correct. So if you find the magnitude, we must get 1. So if the magnitude is 1, then that is a unit vector. Okay, so we are getting magnitude as root 2. Therefore, this is not the, okay, so unit vector. Okay, now, so take the second one. So now we have to take second option. So what is the second option? The second option is, why it's not? Yes, what is the second option? Second option is equal to I divided by root 2. So I cap by root 2. Okay, this is the second option. Okay, so in the second option, what is the component of I cap? Component of I cap is 1 by root 2. Correct? So except I cap, what do we have? That is component. So component of I cap is 1 by root 2. Yes, clear? Now, so how to calculate the magnitude? So the magnitude is root of 1 by root 2 whole square is equal to 1 by 2. 1 by root 2 whole square is root 2 into root 2 is 2. So 1 by root 2, root of 1 by 2. Okay, so 1 by root 2 whole square. So 1 by root 2 whole square is 1 by 2. So root of 1 by 2. This is also not equal to 1. Okay, then next one. What is the next one? So next one is k cap minus I by root 2. Okay, j by root 2. So next one is C option. K cap minus j cap by root 2. Okay, how to find the modulus? How to find the magnitude of this? So how to find root of component of k is 1, so 1 square. Component of j minus 1 by root 2 plus minus 1 by root 2 whole square. Clear? So component of k is 1, so 1 square plus component of j minus 1 by root 2. So minus 1 by root 2 whole square. Clear? So root of 1 square is 1 plus 1 by root 2 whole square is 1 by 2. So again this is not equal to 1. Okay, so we must get 1 as the answer. Okay, then last option let us take. So what is the last option? I cap, okay, plus j cap divided by 2, root 2. I cap plus j cap divided by root 2, that is last option. Okay, now, so how can we divide this? I cap by root 2 plus j cap by root 2. We can split like this. Okay, split I cap plus j cap by root 2 as I cap by root 2 plus j cap by root 2. So we can split like this. Okay, now, so what will happen? Again find the magnitude. Magnitude is root of I, that is component of I cap, that is 1 by root 2 whole square plus component of j cap 1 by root 2 whole square again. Okay, so what is 1 by root 2 whole square? 1 by root 2 whole square is 1 by 2 plus again 1 by root 2 whole square is 1 by 2. So what is 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2? Half plus half. Half plus half is 1. So root of 1. Root 1 is again 1. So we are getting 1 only for this option. So unit vector is, okay, magnitude has magnitude 1 which is equal to 1. Unit vector we calculated. So the magnitude is 1. So D option is the correct answer for us. Yes, clear? So which option is correct? D option is correct. Take 2 minutes break. நகலவே மாட்டேங்க. என்னன்னே தெரியல. தமிழ்ல எல்லாம் புகழல. இது பொது ஃபைல் தான் இது. இதுதான் இருக்கு. ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் அண்ட் 1 மார்க்னு இருக்கும். USB. Seventh standard, அதோ யூனிட் 2 ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் அண்ட் 1 மார்க் மட்டும்தான் இருக்குதுல. இதான் பக்கத்துல இருக்கட்டும் பேசாம. செகண்ட் முடிஞ்சு தேர்ட். Yes, now let us discuss third 1 mark. Which one of the following physical quantities cannot be represented by a scalar? Okay, so out of 4 options given, okay, what is vector and what is scalar we must identify. Mass is a scalar quantity. Mass has no direction, so it's a scalar quantity. Length is a scalar quantity. Okay, then magnitude of acceleration, magnitude, okay, so automatically scalar. Acceleration is a vector, but magnitude of acceleration is scalar. Okay, so momentum alone is a vector quantity here. Okay, so which one of the following physical quantity cannot be represented by a scalar? So momentum cannot be represented by a scalar because momentum is a vector quantity. Yes, clear? Okay, now so fourth 1 mark. Two objects of masses m1 and m2 fall from heights h1 and h2 respectively. So we have got two objects, masses of two objects m1 and m2. They are falling from a height h1 and h2 respectively. Okay, we have to calculate magnitude of momenta. Momenta means plural form of momentum. Okay, what is momenta? Momenta is nothing but plural form of momentum. Okay, so plural form of momentum is momenta. So we have to calculate ratio of momentum. Yes, now how to calculate the ratio of the momentum? Momentum, what's the formula? Momentum is nothing but mass into velocity. General formula for momentum is P. Okay, so magnitude of the momentum P equal to m into V, we know. Okay, so mass is given, correct? So m1 is the mass of first object, m2 is the mass of second object. Now what is velocity? So if we know velocity, we can calculate the momentum. Okay, now what is given? The two objects of masses m1 and m2 fall from heights. It is falling. Okay, it's a free fall, falling freely from a height. Okay, so we have already derived the velocity for freely falling body. Okay, so what's the velocity of freely falling body? So v1 velocity is equal to root of 2gh1. We know already. So we have already derived v is equal to root of 2gh. So velocity of freely falling body is equal to v1 equal to root of 2gh1. The same way. What is velocity of another second body? The velocity of the second body is v2. Okay, v2 equal to root of 2gh2. Is clear? So masses m1 and m2, velocity v1 and v2. We know mass and velocity. So automatically we can calculate the momentum. Yes, so what's the momentum of first particle? Momentum of first particle is m1 v1. Okay, momentum of second particle is m2 v2. Okay, now we have to find the ratio. What is asked? The ratio. Okay, so ratio of magnitude of momentum. So m1 v1 by m2 v2. So we have to calculate m1 v1 divided by m2 v2. Yes, now substitute. So this is equal to mass is m1. What is v1? v1 is root of 2gh1 by mass is m2 and v2 root of 2gh2. Is clear? Now, so 2g and 2g gets cancelled. So what is left? So left is m1 by m2 into root of h1 by h2. Is clear? So m1 by m2 equal to root of h1 by h2. So that is the ratio of momenta of two objects. Okay. So what's the ratio of momenta of two objects? So option C is the correct answer. So ratio of moment of two objects is m1 by m2 into root of h1 by h2. Yes, clear? Then next, okay. Next we have, okay. So fifth 1 mark. If a particle has negative velocity and negative acceleration, a particle is having negative velocity, okay, and negative acceleration, what will happen to speed? Okay, so now how to draw the graph for this? So we'll be having the graph like this. Okay, for negative acceleration. Okay, so if velocity is taken along y-axis and time is taken along x-axis. Okay, so if the particle has negative velocity, so negative velocity means here velocity, negative velocity and negative acceleration. So the graph will be like this. So velocity is negative and acceleration is also negative. Okay, and negative acceleration, that means acceleration is increasing. So the velocity, acceleration and velocity will increase only if the speed increases. Okay, so acceleration increases in the negative direction. Though it is in negative direction, okay, the acceleration will increase only when the speed increases. Okay, now if the speed increases, then acceleration will be increasing, or else, okay, the acceleration will never increase. So the option should be, okay, speed increases. Okay, don't think that since it is negative velocity and negative acceleration, speed is decreasing. Okay, so though it is, okay, negative, it is increasing. Acceleration is increasing. So for the acceleration to increase, speed should increase. Okay, now see, an object which moves in the negative direction has negative velocity. If the object is speeding up, then its acceleration vector is directed in the same direction as its motion. Okay, so acceleration will be in the same direction as that of the velocity, okay, as that of the speed, only if the speed increases. Okay, so the option is speed is increasing. Yes, clear? Then next we have sixth one mark. So if the velocity is v vector, which is equal to 2i cap plus t square j cap minus 9k cap. Okay, this is the velocity. We are supposed to calculate magnitude of acceleration. Okay, so from velocity, how can we calculate the magnitude of acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but rate of change of velocity. Okay, so what is acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but rate of change of velocity. So velocity is given. Now we have to calculate acceleration. எப்படி calculate பண்ணுவ acceleration? Velocity ல இருந்து acceleration calculate பண்ணணும். So what is acceleration? Acceleration A equal to dv by dt. Okay, so acceleration A equal to dv by dt. This is acceleration formula. Okay, so acceleration A equal to d by dt of, instead of v, substitute என்ன கொடுத்திருக்க v க்கு பதிலா 2i cap, okay, plus t square, okay, j cap minus, okay, 9k cap. This is what given. The velocity is given. Now we have to differentiate this velocity. So how to differentiate this velocity? Now, so we are going to differentiate velocity with respect to time. First check whether all term has time or not. If time is not there, the differentiation is 0. Okay, so in that term, if time is not there, we cannot differentiate. So differentiation is 0. So first term 2i, okay, no t. So differentiation of 2i cap is 0. Then last term minus 9k cap, okay, no t term. So we cannot differentiate. Okay, so we have to differentiate with respect to time. If there is no t term, then that term will get cancelled. Okay, so now differentiation of 9k is 0. Differentiation of 2i cap is also 0. So what is left now? Only one is left, that is t square j cap. That is alone left. Okay, now differentiate this. Okay, now d by dt of what is left is t square j cap alone. The remaining two term cancelled. Okay, now, so this is, so how to differentiate? T square already I told, t power 2, differentiation is 2 t power 2 minus 1. Already I told, okay, 2 t power 2 minus 1. So how to differentiate? So 2 t power 2 minus 1 into j cap. This is equal to 2 t power 2 minus 1 is t. T power 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So 2t. So 2t into j cap. So this is acceleration. So what is acceleration? Acceleration we got 2t into j cap. So what's the time given? Acceleration at time t equal to 0.5 second given. Okay, acceleration at time t equal to 0.5 second is given. So we must calculate, so acceleration at t. equal to 0.5 second. Substitute பண்ணிக்கலாமா? t க்கு பதிலா வந்து we have to substitute 0.5 second. So substitute now. So 2 into instead of t substitute 0.5. Okay. So acceleration. Okay. So magnitude is asked. Therefore we can neglect the j cap. Okay. Magnitude alone is asked. Okay. Therefore 2 into 0.5 equal to what is 2 into 0.5? 1. So 1 meter per second square. Yes, clear? Okay. So what is the magnitude of the acceleration? Magnitude of acceleration is 2 into 0.5 equal to 1. 1 meter per second square is the acceleration. Clear? So we have calculated acceleration at t equal to 0.5 second. That's all about this sum. Then next one is, so 7th one mark. If an object is dropped from top of a building, see, dropped. So whenever you come across the word dropped, so dropped means u equal to 0. It's indirectly given u equal to 0. Dropped means what? U is 0. Okay, from the top of a building. And it reaches the ground at t equal to 4 seconds. Time is given. Okay, so time is given. We are supposed to calculate height of the building. H we must calculate. Okay, so you must know which formula must be chosen. Okay, even v square equal to u square plus 2as formula is there. Okay, so in this formula is also s is there. So we can choose this formula for calculating height. But we are not able to choose here. Why? Here time term is not at all there. Time is given. Okay, time 4 seconds. Time term is not at all there. And we don't know about final velocity. Okay, so we cannot choose this formula. So what formula we must choose? So which formula contains s as well as t? Okay, so that formula we must choose. Okay, so you should not have the confusion that what formula must be chosen. Yes, clear? Now, so we have to choose s is equal to ut plus half at square. So choose now. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, in this equation, what substitution we must make? So instead of s, substitute h. Instead of a, substitute g. And instead of u, substitute 0 because it is dropped. So dropped means u equal to 0. Yes, shall we substitute now? So instead of s, substitute h. Okay, then u is equal to 0 plus, okay, half into gt square. Instead of a, substitute g. So g into t square. Clear? So h is equal to, okay, half gt square is the formula now. So h becomes half gt square. Clear? Now substitute half into g value. G is 9.8. Okay, and t value. T is, okay, what is given? 4 seconds. So 4 square. Okay, so if you simplify this, you are getting 78.4 meter. Okay, so we have calculated the height. So height is 78.4 meter. Clear? Okay. Then we have got next 1 mark. Yes. Now, 8th question. So a ball is projected vertically upwards. Okay, with the velocity, it comes back. Okay, first initially the ball is projected vertically upwards. Okay, now, so it comes back to the ground in a time t. Okay, after a particular time t, it is returning back. Okay, now which VT graph, okay, is correct? So 4 VT graph is given. So which VT graph is correct? That's the question. Okay, a ball is projected in the vertically upward direction. So when the ball is projected in the vertically upward direction, its velocity decreases. Okay, so when the ball moves in the upward direction, velocity decreases. So if you draw velocity time graph, so the velocity time graph should be towards downward. Okay, so when the ball is thrown up, okay, we are throwing the ball up, but velocity time graph should be downward because velocity decreases. And when the ball reaches the maximum height, what happens? Velocity becomes 0. When the ball is thrown up, velocity decreases. Okay, when the ball reaches the maximum height, velocity becomes 0. So the graph should touch x-axis when the velocity is 0. So out of this graph, so velocity is decreasing. When the ball is thrown up, velocity is decreasing. Okay, and when the ball reaches the maximum height, velocity becomes 0. And then again what happens? Okay, so when the ball comes down, velocity, what happens? Velocity increases but in the negative direction and becomes equal to velocity with which it is projected. Yes, so when the ball is thrown up, velocity what happens? Decreases. Okay, then, and when ball reaches maximum height, velocity becomes 0. Okay, after reaching maximum height, the ball comes down. Okay, when the ball is coming down, what happens? Okay, so the velocity will be increasing, slowly increasing, but in the negative direction. Okay, velocity increasing in the negative direction. Okay, so the graph should be in the negative direction. Okay, and then, so velocity, it attains the maximum velocity. That means that is the velocity with which we project the object. Okay, so it will attain the velocity with which we project the object. So this is the graph. Okay, option C is the correct answer. Yes? Yes, now, so next one mark we have here is, so if one object is dropped vertically downward, one object we are dropping vertically downward. Okay, another object we are throwing. Okay, so which object will reach the earth first? That is the question. Okay, one object is dropped vertically downward. Okay, another object is thrown. Okay, so both the objects are thrown and dropped simultaneously. You are dropping and throwing simultaneously. Which object will reach the ground first? That is the question. Both the object will reach the ground simultaneously. Already we have studied in theory. Okay, so both the objects, okay, I have done an experiment even. So 0.76 second, both the objects will reach the ground simultaneously. Okay, we checked, we have done that day itself. Okay, so one object is dropped and one object is thrown. Both the object will reach the ground simultaneously. Therefore, if you find the ratio of time, okay, it will be 1 because both are reaching at the same time. So if the first object reaches by 0.76 second, the second object also will reach at 0.76 second. If you find the ratio of those two, that will be equal to 1. Okay. So now the ratio is 1. Clear? Okay. Then next question is, a ball is dropped from some height towards the ground. You are dropping of a ball from some height towards the ground. Which one of the following represents the correct motion of the ball? We are dropping the ball from certain height. Which ball? Okay, so which one of the following represents the correct motion? Okay, so what is the, which is representing the correct motion? We already studied even in theory. Okay, when the ball is dropped, its velocity is gradually, or acceleration is gradually increasing. Okay, its velocity will increase gradually, or acceleration will be increasing gradually. Okay, see this diagram. So first it is less, okay, and then it is more, and then it is very more. Okay, so gradual increment. So slow and a little bit greater, again greater. Okay, and then see this, it's equal. Okay, the position of the ball is equal here. Here see, two balls are closer and the space is more. Again two positions are closer, space is more. Okay, so these are all irregular motion. Okay, so what is regular motion? First option is the correct one because gradually, so here increment is less, here increment is little bit more, again it is more. So there is a gradual increment in velocity. So the option A is the correct answer. Is clear? So when the ball is dropped from certain height, okay, or moving from certain height, what happens? Velocity increases gradually. Is clear? Now, so 11th one mark. So if a particle executes uniform circular motion in the xy plane clockwise, so you must remember what direction is this. So plane is xy. Okay, so xy plane. In what direction? Clockwise direction. So it is moving in clockwise direction. So this is the clockwise direction. What plane it is moving? It is moving in xy plane. Okay, now xy plane it is moving. Okay, so now what happens? What is the question? So then angular velocity is in. So what is the direction of angular velocity? Okay, so if the particle is moving in xy plane, then angular velocity will be in a plane, okay, perpendicular to xy. Okay, the plane which is perpendicular to xy is z. Sorry, direction which is perpendicular to xy plane is z. Okay, the particle is moving in xy plane. Okay, in which direction angular velocity will be? Angular velocity will be in, okay, what direction? Perpendicular to the direction of xy plane. So in z direction. Okay, and then, so if the particle moves in clockwise direction, if the particle is moving in clockwise direction, what will happen? Angular velocity will be along the axis of rotation in the downward direction. Okay, if the particle moves in anti-clockwise direction, angular velocity will be in the upward direction. So we have studied in, okay, theory. So if the particle is moving in anti-clockwise direction, it will be in the upward direction. If the particle moves in the downward direction, it will be in the, okay, so clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction. So anti-clockwise means upward, clockwise means downward. Is it clear? Okay, now, so here, so the particle is moving in clockwise, so you must remember this. Clockwise direction, okay, xy plane. If the plane is xy, okay, final direction will be z. Clockwise means, okay, then it is downward. So clockwise, downward means minus z. Okay, so upward means plus z, downward means minus z. So what direction angular velocity will be? Angular velocity will be in minus z direction. Are you all clear? Okay, now, next one mark. So if a particle executes uniform circular motion, choose the correct statement. Already you know what is the condition for uniform circular motion. So for the uniform circular motion, speed is constant. That is, magnitude of velocity is constant. Okay, so speed is constant. Check which is correct. Speed is constant. Here velocity and speed are constant. Wrong. So velocity is variable. You know that. For uniform circular motion, speed alone constant, velocity is variable. So first option is both are constant given. So wrong. Second option, acceleration and speed are constant. Okay, acceleration and speed are constant. Wrong. Speed is constant, correct. But acceleration is not constant. Okay, acceleration changes. If velocity changes, acceleration also changes. Okay, then, so velocity and acceleration are constant. Okay, so velocity also changing, acceleration is also changing. Only speed is constant. Okay, last option is speed and magnitude. Magnitude of acceleration. Okay, so what is constant? Speed and magnitude of acceleration. Both are constant. Okay, so last option is the correct one. Okay. Acceleration is not constant. Magnitude of acceleration is constant. Remember. Then, next one. See, if an object is thrown vertically up, so we are throwing the object vertically up. Okay. So if an object is thrown vertically up, the initial speed u is the initial speed. We are throwing the object vertically up from the ground. Then the time taken by the object to return back to the ground is, so we are supposed to calculate time taken. Okay, so we are taking the formula S is equal to ut plus half at square. What formula we are choosing? Yes, S is equal to ut plus half at square. This is the formula we are choosing. Okay, now what we have to take? S is equal to 0 here. Why S is 0? The object is thrown up and again the object comes down. So we are throwing it up and coming down. Okay, so displacement will be 0. If the object is thrown up and if it comes back, displacement will be 0. So S is equal to 0. Okay, and acceleration due to gravity, since it is coming down. Okay, first we are throwing up and coming down. So first initially we are throwing the object up. So when the object is thrown up, what will happen? Acceleration is minus g. A is equal to minus g. Okay, substitute A equal to minus g and S is equal to 0. So what will happen? S is equal to 0, then okay, ut plus half a t square minus half a instead of a gt square. Yes, so half gt square equal to ut. Bring half gt square this side, t will get cancelled. So from this we must calculate t equal to 2u by g. What is the time taken by the object to reach the ground? Time taken by the object to reach the ground is t is equal to 2u by g. Is clear? Yes. Now listen. So two objects are projected at angles 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. We are having two objects here. One is projected at an angle of 30 degree. Another one is projected at an angle of 60 degree. Okay. Now, so we must calculate range. Range at 30 degree and the range at 60 degree. What is the question? Range at 30 degree and the range at 60 degree. Okay. Now, what's the formula for range? Range is equal to, you already know, u square sine 2 theta divided by g. That's the formula. Range formula is u square sine 2 theta by g. First angle is 30 degree given. So substitute for 30 degree. R30 equal to u square by g sine 2 theta, but 2 into 30 is 60. Sine 60. Sine 60 is root 3 by 2. So root 3 by 2 u square by g. Over. Okay. Now second one. Second range. Okay. So what is the second angle given? Second angle is 60 degree given. For 60 degree. So R60 equal to u square by g sine 2 into 60. 2 into 60 is 120. Sine 120. Okay. Now sine 120 can be written as 90 plus 30. We can write 120 as 90 plus 30. How can we write 120? This 120 can be written as 90 plus 30. Okay. But sine of 90 plus theta equal to cos theta. So what is sine of 90 plus theta? Sine of 90 plus theta equal to cos theta. Okay, then. So how can we write sine of 90 plus 30? Sine of 90 plus 30 equal to cos 30. Is clear? Sine of 90 plus theta is cos theta. Sine of 90 plus 30 is cos 30. Is clear? Now, so for sine of 90 plus 30, instead of sine of 90 plus 30, we can write cos 30. Cos 30 is also root 3 by 2. Okay, sine 60 is also root 3 by 2. Cos 30 is also root 3 by 2. So what answer you are getting for this? Root 3 by 2 u square by g. Okay, for 60 degree projection, what answer you are getting? Root 3 by 2 u square by g. Okay, both the answers are same. Therefore, R30 equal to R60. So what option you must write? So the option is R30 equal to R60. So if you substitute 30 degree or if you substitute 60 degree, you are getting the same range. Therefore, R30 equal to R60. Yes, this is 14th sum. Okay, now, so we have got one more sum, that is last problem. An object is dropped. Okay, so in an unknown planet, we are dropping the object in an unknown planet from height 50 meter. So height is 50 meter. Okay, reaches the ground in 2 seconds. Time is given as 2 seconds. Height is 50 meter. So the acceleration due to gravity is. So we have to calculate acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So now what is given? Time is given, distance is given. So we can take the formula S is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay. So what is S here? S is h. Okay. Equal to ut plus half gt square. So since it is height, we are taking S as h. Okay. So now substitute h is equal to 50. Equal to half into g into t square is 2 square. Time is given 2 seconds. Okay. So instead of t, substitute 2 square. 2 square equal to 4. Okay. Now 50 equal to half. Since it is unknown planet, we are not taking g. We are taking it as g1. Okay. So g1 into 4. So what is g1 from this? g1 is equal to 25. So what's the gravitational force in the unknown planet? So gravitational force in unknown planet is g1 equal to 25 meter per second square. Is clear? So this is the 1 mark, all the 1 mark we have discussed. So of the second chapter. Yes, clear?